Hello everyone, we are back with another day trading video. We are going to look at the 5 best tools for day traders / scalpers. So let's get right into it. First one is moving averages. I love moving averages. They work perfectly for pullback trading and especially when scalping charts, they are amazing. So the ones I'm using is 8, 13, 21. Whenever we pull back into these, they are nicely fanned out. We pull back into these and we get a decent price action. For example, like a pin bar here, together with a level retest, we can then short this, especially when we are getting a level retest together with this pullback into the moving averages, right? It doesn't happen often, but when it does happen, these are really killer trades. The next tool I really love is Bollinger Bands. What I'm looking for here is a specific pattern, and that is a 3 drives to the upside or the downside before I'm reversing. So if we have basically 1 leg, 2 leg, 3 legs, and then we close outside of the Bollinger Band and then back inside, you can then go long for awesome trades. 1, 2, 3, and close back inside. And here we had a 1, 2, 3 against the trend outside of the Bollinger Band, and we are going down, right? You can see this all the time on the charts. 1, 2, 3, close back inside, and down we go. As target, you could use the middle of the Bollinger Bands or the other side of the Bollinger Bands, or you do a trailing stop. It's really up to you how you want to play this. Just really important is we need those 3 drives, like 1, 2, 3, and off we go. 1, 2, 3, and down we go. Not a lot, obviously. Not all the trades are winners. Not all the trades are huge winners, but it's an awesome strategy. Here we had a 1, 2, 3, but we never closed outside of the Bollinger Bands. Then we had 2 more drives, no close outside, so there's no trade here, right? You have to be very picky with your entries, obviously. And settings are standard, right? Okay. The next thing I really love to use are pivot points. They are basically support resistance level based on yesterday's range, and they work really well if you combine them with other strategies or technical levels. For example, you can see here we had our 1, 2, 3 into a pivot before we are going down, and here we couldn't get through S1, going up, breaking the daily pivot, going higher, testing the R1, going lower, breaking it, testing R2, going lower, down to S1, and so on. So there's really a lot of trade opportunities around these pivot points, and they work really well, especially in extended or break and retest scenarios, right? So what I really love to do is to wait for the break and retest of especially the daily pivot to then go in the direction with the trend, or to reverse overextended situations. Like for example this one, we are going from the daily pivot all the way up to R3, and then up here we can go to the lower time frames to see if there is any chance of us taking a reversal. Obviously you can then also put your Bollinger Bands on if you are inclined to do so, and see that we obviously closed up outside of the Bollinger Bands, and maybe on the M5 or M1 you can find a decent entry here. Really cool stuff. And then what I'm also using are yesterday's high and low. So basically if we take the high, this is 1 daily candle, right? 1 day. We take the high of this, we get this level here. If we take the low of this day, we get this level. And as you can see, they are really often acting as support or resistance, which makes sense because on a daily chart, the high and the low are where price simply couldn't get through for whatever reason. So you can often take reversal trades off of these levels, like here for example as well, or here for example, or you can wait until they break out and then try to go with the trend, because obviously if we break above yesterday's high or yesterday's low, it means we are getting a trend continuation day or a huge reversal day, right? So for example, here we bounced from yesterday's low and then broke it, and then we continue the trend to the downside. Now if you combine this yesterday's high low, then you can also add weekly high lows, last month's high low, and then you often get level clusters that really work pretty well for taking reversal or trend continuation trades in case we break and test them. My favorite reversal opportunity is when we break above yesterday's high, stay there for a bit, and then break back into the range of yesterday. Same as for the low, of course. Here we broke below yesterday's low, try to make a breakout day, and we are going back inside the range, and we can take this trade to the long side, right? It happens all the time, especially in Forex, because Forex is a mean reverting market and it ranges much more than it trends. Here we have a classic break, test and retest, and then the break to the downside. So that's one of those breakout days, but most of the days are really just trying to go outside of the range and we are going back in. And there are your trade opportunities, because obviously the people that short here, they have their stop somewhere here, 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 and as these get taken out, momentum is coming in to push the price higher or lower. And the last tool I think which is really vital for day traders is the sessions. You want to know when your Asian session, your London session, your New York session begin and end. And for example, the yellow thing here is the New York-London overlap, and you really have to know that. I typically only trade around the London Open, so roughly around the green zone here, and these 3 hours roughly from 2:30 p.m. to 5 p.m. is my typical trading time. And I do trade these because you get nice volume, you get nice moves. As you can see here, for example, we consolidated the whole Asia session, which is blue, very tight range. As soon as we opened up London and Frankfurt, we started to move higher. Often then when New York comes, it starts ranging. If we had a big move in London, if we had a range in London, often we get a move in New York, and so on. So knowing how the sessions play out in combination with your strategy is really important, and a piece of information you cannot miss out on as a day trader. So now if we combine everything together, we have yesterday's high-low, we have our Bollinger Bands, moving averages, the pivot points, and the sessions. Then suddenly you have something that you can build a strategy out of. For example, we had a move up in the Asia session to R1, we are coming back down into yesterday's high, we are testing it, we are testing the moving averages as well, and we are definitely in an uptrend. So now you could try to go long here, for example. It's a very classic long play, especially with the retest of yesterday's high, together with the session open and the moving averages. It's a high probability play. And here, for example, we have a breakdown of a trend line, a longer term trend line actually. If we draw this in, right at the open of London, we break below the daily pivot, we retest the daily pivot together with the moving averages inside the Bollinger Band. So somewhere here we want to go short, or we wait for the breakdown to go short, goes down to S1 and yesterday's low. That would be your take profit, obviously. And if you go short here with a 1 bar stop on the M15, you get a 3.5 to 1, which is pretty good. So I think these 5 tools really give you enough information to build your own strategy. For example, here we have a 1, 2, 3, close back inside the Bollinger Band, but we are just above R2, so maybe we want to wait until this breaks. It does break here, and then we can go short. we bounce back into yesterday's high and R1, and no reaction to it, so we can hold on to this trade forever. The strategy that I'm teaching in the masterclass is very similar to this. It's a bit more advanced. It's teaching you where to put your stop losses, your take profits, how to scan the charts for entries and so on. So if you either want to build your own strategy with this toolkit, or you want to know exactly which tools I'm using, how I'm using them, and how I'm managing my trades and so on, then click the link below in the description. Join our masterclass. You will get 2 to 3 webinars per week with me, teaching you how to day trade Forex. Thanks for your time as always. Talk in the next video.